The first thing we need to do is to make a restore point in case we got to go back from Windows 8.1. So I think it's in the system protection, and make a restore point right there, whatever the date it is. Enter it there so later you can go back. So now I can shrink a partition for my Yosemite. So I'm going to use a lot with Mac. So I'm going to make it to a 300 gigabyte out of this 1 terabyte C drive. I want to use Windows very minimal for this laptop. So shrink it and then just do the simple anti-FS is fine because we're going to restore it anyhow. Oh, I do get comments that anti-FS is not for Mac OS, and yes, I know, because when you restore it, whatever is in there will be deleted anyhow. So I just want to make it clear so it's easier, so at least you can see it when you restore it. Alright. Yosemite doesn't allow to restore itself to another partition, so we have to use the 8 gigabyte USB flash installer before, and we use that to boot and use the disk utility in there to restore the external USB that we have. So we're going to plug the external USB into the 3.0 port and the boot into the 2 USB 2.0. Hit F9, and then we're going to select the USB, the 8 gigabyte USB flash drive, which is a generic USB storage. So whatever yours may be, okay? Okay, so you're going to boot OS base Yosemite. OS base Yosemite 10.10.1. Alright, that's the one we had before. And just boot without cache. Or with cache, it doesn't matter. Now, we need to go to utility. This utility. So now we see the Yosemite 10.1 here. We're going to restore this one. The 250 gig, that's a external. Alright. We're going to restore this one to Yosemite that we shrunk before. So this is the destination. Alright. So make sure this is the hard drive destination and this is a USB. Alright, now let's hit restore. Erase, yes. Alright. So it said it's going to take 11 minutes. So we'll be back in 11 minutes. Alright. Alright, so it's done. Okay. So now we have Yosemite 10.1. Alright, we'll do F9 again. So we also need to boot from the external bootloader. Now, well, go back in here. Option. We should remove this one, but anyway, remove the X. Save mode. Yosemite internal, because we don't have the external in there anymore. Okay, so what we're going to do, boot. So now it's from the hard drive. So from here we're going to have to install the Clover again, but this time we're going to install into the EFI of the system, which is the EFI of C hard drive. Alright. So this way we don't really have to modify formatting the hard drive or anything like that. Okay. Okay, we're in. We need to use Clover configurator. So mount EFI, okay? So we mount EFI partition. Continue. So because this EFI partition doesn't have the name EFI, that's why. So we go in here. Okay, so we can eject these two. This is the external USB 8 gig that we used to install before. So we don't want this. Since we already have our post app here, 0.021, we want to install this. Alright, install this to here. Of course, we customize it. Install for UEFI booting only, right? The theme, drivers, everything. So let's see if it's gonna pop up that okay, no name. You see that? The EFI folder. Now it came up. So which is, this one doesn't have a name, but anyhow. So inside here you will see Clover. See that? Alright, so it's done. So what we need to do is this. Inside this Clover, we kind of copy exactly the same as the one we use to boot. So Clover Haswell, this is mine. Clover. So the ACPI, we need to use this ACPI. It's okay. The ACPI in here, we need to put the SDT, and remember SSDT that we have, so it should be in Brandon library, SSDT PRGen. Now this one we need to put over here. Okay. But we have more work to do because the battery, we didn't patch the SDT and SDT yet. But right now we just want to get this working first, okay? So now the next one is config.list. This is the original. We don't want this one. We want ours. Okay, config. Okay, here's mine. So I'm gonna put it in here. And my drivers also. So what I do is this. So HFS plus is what we need. NTFS is what we need. We don't need this one. Hey, forget that. Yes. The next one is kex. There's only a few folders in here that we need to actually use. So the kex, right? So what I want to do is this kex. Ten, alright, so 10. We already installed all of these already, so we don't need to, but just put it in here just in case. So replace all. So 10.10 is in here, alright. So make sure we get the right stuff. Let's make a new folder called unused kex. Unused kex. I don't want this one. That one I need. This one I already installed. I don't need this. So this one I need. It's okay. Leave it there. It doesn't hurt. Alright, so 10.10. So later if I want to install another one called 10.9, I have it too. Okay, so that's fine. Alright. So do I have everything I want in here? EFI, Clover, ACPI, patch, okay. This config.list, I need to put Yosemite 10.10.1 as a default. We're not booting with Clover yet until we know for sure everything is working. If you want to default EFI to boot into Clover, alright, we hit F9. We already installed Clover into the EFI folder partition, but we didn't default for it to boot from there. So now if we want to boot to Clover,
we have to boot from EFI file. Okay, we're gonna do that. EFI. Now you see here it's Clover, and then we just use this one, Clover, and it should come up. See, default Yosemite 10.10.1 automatic boot in 2 seconds. So let's check this. We still put that X in there, so I need to fix that in the config file. Okay, so now let's do this. Have to go to option, delete this. Alright, since we already updated the cache, so we can boot with the cache. So default is with the cache. Alright, so now we're going to boot. Look at this, the Ethernet, Realtek. The MAC address all F, so they couldn't read it for some reason. So that's why it's not connected. They loaded the kex, but it doesn't. God, it's pretty fast.
We got to change this. So the Clover, the Microsoft right here, the boot. So boot MGFWEFI, this is for Windows. So we need to put the Clover in there if you want to boot for Clover. So we need this one. Paste. So if you want to boot in here, right, so what I'm going to do is to change this alternate C, and then I'm going to put in here alternate V, but this one I'm going to call it Clover. So later all I need to do is to rename this one to MFC, rename this one to Windows, then when it goes in it will boot automatically from MGFW. They always look for this and they boot from this one. Onto the EFI, it will replace the boot EFI window with the Clover. So we need to copy this one, to the boot EFI. See, this is the folder EFI boot. Alright, so we paste it here. We rename this one Clover, and we change this one back to boot trackpad, boot X64. So actually we switched them. This one is Windows, the other one is Clover. Alright, so that's how we do it. So now when we boot from the EFI, it will boot Windows. So this is how we do it. So let me restart and then check the dual boot.
Alright, after we change the boot manager from Windows and redirect it to Clover, now when we reboot, we don't need to hit F9 anymore. It's going to go directly to Clover. Okay, let's do restart. Now it should go straight to Clover. It will go straight to Clover. There you go. So if you want to boot to Windows, boot UEFI from internal. If you want to boot, we've already put the Yosemite as default, so it's going to go with the default. Alright, there you go, dual boot. Alright, so let's restart this one and boot to Windows. Okay, alright, boot EFI from internal EFI. Okay, that's to boot Windows. Okay. Okay.